Great leaders don't have to have all the answers. They need to ask better questions. I'm Ruth Kudzi. This is the Coaching Hub podcast. We're going to explore how coaching skills can really equip leaders to have more impact. And you know I'm going to say it, and to maybe have to do less. We know that the role of a leader has changed. It used to be that leaders were seen as the knowledge owners in organizations, and therefore they would be holding a lot of cognitive capacity and a lot of things actually in their heads, and people will be defaulting to them. That traditional command and control. I know the answers, you're going to do the work, let's go. But actually, over the last 30 plus years, we've recognized that leadership is different. Leadership is not about telling everyone what to do. In fact, if we have a coaching approach to leadership, it helps engage people, it helps give people autonomy, it helps performance, and it also reduces the leader's cognitive load. So how, as a leader, do we really embed coaching skills? It starts with relatedness and relationships. We hear so much about psychological safety, but if people do not feel that they are safe, that's their nervous system and their emotions, they are not going to be open and honest. And therefore, we're creating barriers. It means that we're not going to have innovation and creativity. If we don't feel safe, we find it harder to connect and build relatedness, which we know is essential for workplace performance. It is also essential to make people feel valued. So how do you build safety? It's about people understanding the roles that they play. It's about listening and really being present with people and showing them that they are valued and valuable. It's about giving feedback and positive feedback to people, recognizing their strengths, supporting them without judgment to improve and compassion to improve. It is about being clear on lines of accountability and expectations. It is about being open and transparent and consistent and equitable. So making sure that actually what you do with one person is transferable to what you do with others, because people are always looking. And if there is that lack of equity, it can mean that people get into a bit of a threat state in their nervous system, which can actually reduce relatedness and reduce cognitive capacity. So, first of all, building safety, building trust, getting to know people person by person, understanding their strengths, helping them play to their strengths, making sure it is okay to get things wrong. So thinking about, how are you following up when someone makes a mistake? How are you supporting them? What questions are you asking them? Rather than the kind of not very curious, why did you do this or what happened? But actually, knowing what you know now, how would you have approached this differently? What can we do next time to avoid this happening? What have you learned? I mean, I love that question. What have you learned? Often I'm saying to people, what is the learning here? How can we apply this? What can we change so it doesn't happen again? And that is fundamentally it, because everybody's going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes, because ultimately, often we don't know until we made a mistake that it's wrong. We make decisions with the information that we've had in that moment. And obviously, sometimes we might have got things wrong. We might have not heard them properly. We might have assumed things. We might have, had biases. So actually going into, right, where can we learn? How can we apply that learning? Such simple yet powerful questions that actually give people agency, give people autonomy, and create safety. It's okay that we've made a mistake. Where can we learn from this? And then from trust and safety, it's into presence. Honestly, this can be super hard because when you've got multiple things going on, oh my gosh, I need to give that person time. But if you don't, if we feel that we are not valued enough to have time, to have true presence, it destroys relatedness. So being present with people, even for a short period of time, can really help build that relatedness. So listening with all of your neural pathways, listening with curiosity, asking questions without being attached to the answer. So what do you think? What do you notice? How do you feel? What would you love to tell me? What is not being said here? Be curious, but also notice patterns. Is somebody withdrawing? Is somebody more engaged? What else is going on? And I think that as leaders, it is about that whole person approach. So recognizing that there may be other things, being okay to have that conversation when maybe someone's got something going on at home. How can I support you? We know that if we are compassionate and open, then we'll build that relatedness, we'll build trust, we'll build safety, we'll build engagement. So listening, reflecting, helping people to find their own solutions. So many leaders, and I have been here so many times, so there is no judgment here, believe that we know best. I mean, it's a bit of our ego, isn't it? I've been doing this for so long, I know the solution. But do we always? We ask for feedback from our students and from our team. And often someone will share something that is way better than any idea I've ever had because they're looking at it through a different lens. But if I wasn't asking, if we weren't genuinely interested in other people's ideas, we'd only have one brain. And many brains are much more effective than one brain, whoever's brain you have. So actually being genuinely curious about ideas, allowing space for people to think, to reflect, and to come back. And this kind of goes into that coaching mindset around all that we do. Because often in organizations, we expect people to have the solution that quickly. And when they don't, we move on. But actually, coaching is about thinking spaces. So how are we creating space in our workplaces to give people time to think so that we can have better conversations? That is a question that I ask a lot of my clients and myself. Actually, how do we create more space? Really simple thing that we have started doing is we have an hour for a meeting and we block that out, but we don't start until 15 minutes into that hour. So everybody can relook at the agenda, can get time to actually think about what they need. Now, of course, they might have used that time at a different space, but actually giving people time to think means that we can get more awareness. They can ask better questions. We can ask better questions. And then the real link of coaching is that it helps people to take autonomy and engage with what they're going to do. So rather than us always having to tell people, this is what you're doing, allowing them to choose, giving them autonomy. And yes, of course, we may need accountability with autonomy, but when you give people the space to make their own decisions and it's safe for them to get it wrong, what you're doing is you're creating capacity. If you are holding everything so tightly, if you're doing things yourself, you are not allowing people to have that capacity to grow. And I really do feel like I'm talking to myself here because it can be so easy to say, I'll just do it myself or I'll just tell them. But instead of thinking about the quick win, take a step back. What if I gave them the problem? What if I let them choose? What if I let this fail? What would happen next? And usually what happens is growth. And this is really what we want. As individuals, as leaders, it is not about doing and holding more. It's about creating capacity so that everybody can learn, everybody can grow, everybody can develop, everybody can have autonomy. And we can build better connection and relationships through presence and listening. And many leaders are not great listeners. I'm not always a great listener, and I'm a master certified coach. So if you take one thing from this, start to really listen. Start to notice when somebody isn't contributing. Start to notice when somebody looks more emotional and ask them, how are you? How can I support you? What do you need? Give them agency. Everybody wants to be valued. Everybody wants to build relationships. So remember that, and the way that you lead will change. What are the coaching leadership skills that you've learned? Comment below. If you've enjoyed this, share it with a friend or a colleague, subscribe and follow, and come and visit our website, Optimus Coach Academy. We'd love to hear from you.